Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This Stuff Up with Dr. Mark. In this episode, I bestow my coveted Pendejo de la Semana, or for the monolingual, my Pendejo of the Week award on right-wing gadfly Randy Economy. Stay tuned to see why. Who is Randy Economy, and what did he do to deserve my Pendejo of the Week award? For those of you who live outside California, you might not recognize the name Randy Economy. In fact, if you live in California, you still might not recognize the name. In any case, Randy is one of the lesser-known hosts on right-wing talk radio here in Southern California. He was one of the promoters of the recent recall election aimed at removing California Governor Gavin Newsom from office. As you might remember, that recall attempt crashed and burned in a landslide. Newsom easily defeated the recall with 61.9% of the voters choosing no on the recall election. More recently, Randy was a candidate for a seat on California's State Board of Equalization. As currently constituted, the State Board of Equalization is a small agency with 400 employees that reviews property tax assessments and insurer tax assessments to ensure that they are being applied fairly from county to county. It also collects the alcohol excise tax and the pipeline tax. There were 7 candidates on the June 2022 primary ballot for the District 4 seat, including Randy, who came in 6th with only 6.6% of the votes cast. At best, I have been able to tell, Economy is heard in a weekly 1-hour radio show on AM radio station KRLA here in Southern California. His program reaches approximately 78,000 listeners, which is minuscule in comparison to the population of the region and to many other conservative talk radio hosts. Economy's radio show claims to expose the waste of taxpayer dollars by local officials, but one of my reasons for bestowing the Pendejo of the Week award on him was his recent manipulation of California election laws in a way that cost the taxpayers of rural Nevada County an unnecessary expenditure of $10,000. Randy Economy most recently came into the public eye by calling for a recount in the June 2022 election for the office of Clerk-Recorder and Registrar of Voters in rural Nevada County, California. Nevada County is a small rural county in northeast California. The county has a population of a little over 100,000 people and is a 9-hour drive north from Economy's home in Southern California's Coachella Valley. In the June 2022 California primary election, the Assistant Clerk Recorder and Registrar of Voters, Natalie Adona, won the election to replace her boss, the current Clerk Recorder and Registrar of Voters, Gregory Diaz, who is retiring. Not only did she win in a landslide. Natalie Adona received 22,800 votes, 68% of the votes cast, compared to establishment Republican Jason Tedder, who received 7,843 votes, 23% of the votes cast, and Trumper Paul Gilbert, who received 2,942 votes, or 9% of the votes cast. Ordinarily, an election with this margin of victory would not be the subject of a recount request. However, California's election laws allow any registered voter in the state to request a recount for pretty much any election, regardless of the margin of victory. In fact, there is no provision for automatic recounts in California elections, no matter how close the margin of victory. For a recount to take place, not only does a registered voter have to request one, but the voter requesting the recount must be willing to pay the cost of conducting the recount. If the recount changes the outcome of the election, the requester's money is refunded. But if the outcome does not change, the money spent on the recount is not refunded. Because of the way the law is written, recounts usually are requested only in close elections where the possibility of a change in the outcome is reasonably high. But the huge margin of Adona's victory in this election did not deter Randy Economy, who has no direct connection with Nevada County, from requesting a recount. Economy is a right-winger who questions the legitimacy of mail-in ballots, and he wanted to examine the signatures on the mailed-in ballots and compare them with the signatures on the registered voter rolls. That's all well and good, but why pick an election where there was no conceivable chance of changing the outcome? Surely there were closer election outcomes from local races in the 2022 California primary that he could have chosen. The answer, in my view, is that Economy saw this as yet another opportunity to sow doubt about the legitimacy of elections here in the United States, and that he had no intention of coughing up the money for a recount. Nevada County officials estimated that it would have taken 38 days to recount the ballots by hand and would have cost more than $80,000 in total. Nevada County officials spent more than $10,000 preparing for the recount. An Economy would have had to pay that amount for the recount to start. But when it came time to put up or shut up, Economy bailed. He told Nevada County officials that he was withdrawing his request for a recount, and he did that at the last possible moment, thereby stiffing the county for the $10,000 it spent to prepare for the recount. So much for calling out the waste of taxpayer funds. In my view, this is just one more example of the paper terrorism supporters of the right-wing big lie have been waging against election officials across the United States in order to cast doubt on the legitimacy of our elections. For that reason, I am awarding Randy Economy my Pendejo de la Semana award, which he so richly deserves. Thanks for watching. Please let me know if you come across any other good candidates for the Pendejo of the Week award. And if you haven't already done so, I would appreciate it greatly if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel.